Hey you guys, today we are going to talk about cruising. I recently went on a cruise and I can't tell you how many people have asked me questions about cruising in general, just surrounding my trip. So I wanted to share some information, kind of do a quick review and info sharing on the Carnival sensation. So my mom and I went on a trip. We went on the Carnival Sensation cruise ship and it was February 3rd through February 8th. I'm going to be referencing some notes over here. We left out of Miami and we went to Grand Turks and Caicos, and we went to Amber Cove, Dominican Republic. So I booked the cruise about a week before the trip. Departure day was February 3rd. I booked the cruise on January 24th. So I booked it very last minute. I booked it for 2 people, my mom and I, a single inside cabin, and I booked it on vacationboss.com. It's a great website. It has a really amazing advanced cruise search feature that I really like, because I like search engines that allow you to really narrow down and filter by price, since I'm cheap and I'm extremely price driven. So I was able to set time frame of when I wanted to travel, and below, I think I set below $500, and what other parameters did I put in? Oh, and the number of dates. I put 5 to 7 night cruise, and that's how I kind of ended on this cruise. We actually had another itinerary we were interested in, and it literally booked up that night. I was trying to call my mom, and by the time I got in touch with her and went to book, it had booked up. So we ended up with this one. And we paid $440.63 each. So I just booked it directly online through vacationboss.com. All I had to do was enter our information, first name, last name, date of birth, and email address, I believe. And then I entered credit card information online. And then after I booked it, a confirmation email was sent directly to me. And then I went ahead and I went to carnival.com and I did the online check-in, which was just entering our information. I think I had to enter like passport information for each of us to get us checked in advance. And then I printed the check-in confirmation document that came from carnival.com. All that was handled in advance. Then I booked our airfare. We flew Spirit from Chicago to Fort Lauderdale, because Fort Lauderdale was cheaper, even though the cruise was cruising out of Miami, just to save some money there. And we came in the night before. So we flew into Fort Lauderdale. Our airfare was literally $50 per person each way. Our checked bag was $21. We did one checked bag and we just combined our stuff because I'm a light packer. And just to save money, because once again, my mom and I are cheap and we love to travel, so we'd prefer to travel more and spend less each time so we can get more traveling in. So we bought a checked bag, each way $21, just one, and we shared that, and then we had our personal item. So we got in a day early. We got an Airbnb for about $40 for that night before, in the Fort Lauderdale area. And then the people that hosted us through Airbnb, we asked them if they could take us to the cruise port in the morning, and they were more than happy to. I think we gave them like $10 or something. I think it was $10 that we gave them to take us there, which is cheaper than a Lyft or Uber. So it was perfect, and they drove us right up, and they were just so nice, you know, in general. So then when we went to get on, we just followed the port instructions. I think it had the port number, or the port letter and number that we had to go to. Went there, dropped off, gave our essentially what was our checked bag for the flight. We checked into Carnival as well, and then we had our own little personal carry-on items with some items to kind of have with us until we could get our checked bag once we got on the cruise. So the porters, I think they're called, that are there, you give them your bag and give them a couple dollar tip, and they take your bag and they hassle and get it to the cruise ship. And then we just went with the confirmation page that we had, and we got there early. We set our appointment for like 12:30 to get on the ship. We set up a check-in appointment, which really isn't a check-in appointment. It's just to have a set time to get there, and we got there early and went on, ran our bags through security, our carry-on that we had with us. You take a picture when you're onboarding, and then you just kind of go through the corral. There weren't many people there since we were there early, and then get on the ship. It literally probably took us 15 minutes tops from the time we were dropped off to the time we were on board the ship. It's a very quick, easy process. I think we showed ID maybe once and showed our confirmation page a couple times, and that was it. It was very easy. Then we got on the ship and we went straight to dining. We ate when we got on board, and then we went to our room. And when we went to our room, it had our sail and sign cards that were in like a sealed envelope, and it said, you know, if this seal is broken, then go to guest services. It wasn't. So we got our sail and sign, we got in our room, we got settled. Our bag wasn't there yet by the time that we first got there, so we just dropped our stuff that we had with us and then went and kind of explored the ship. There was some information that we got in terms of like activities and things going on. So we went and explored the ship and waited for our bags to get to our room. And I have to say that the Carnival Sensation is a little bit of an older ship. It has great amenities, great features, and we had a great time. It has tons of things to do. The cruise director was great. I can't remember his name. I want to say it was Orlando. He was Jamaican. He was great, very peppy, high spirit, high energy. He did a good job at engaging, and he had some other people that were helping him on the entertainment staff that I thought were really good. We did open dining just because we like to do, my mom and I love shows, so we like to take advantage and maximize the shows at night. So we like to do the open dining where we're not restricted to more of a tighter time frame for dining, and we can plan around the shows that we want to go to. And that's just kind of personal preference on how you want to do things. We're just definitely more of the laid back, don't want to have anywhere to be on vacation and any time commitments holding us back. So that worked well for us. And we went to just about every show that there was. And I have to say, the comedians on board were great. Let me see if I have it on my phone. I took some snapshots so I could remember the details of what their names were. Jerome was on board as a comedian, and he did a couple shows and he was awesome. El Romero was another comedian on board. He was hilarious. And then they had some shows that were really good in the main theater, not in the comedy lounge. But they were kind of hit and miss. There were a couple that were a little bit more corny, like the Hasbro game show. It was more of a younger family kind of vibe to it. They had a Viva Variety show that was good. 88 Keys Rock and Roll Piano show was good. Studio VIP was really good, and I didn't know what to expect there, but it was good. So we went to most of the shows, but I'd have to say that the comedians were probably better than the shows, I would say, on this particular ship. We had 2 sea days, so we left out of Miami, we had a sea day, then we did Grand Turk the next day, Amber Cove the next day, and then another sea day, and then back to Miami. Grand Turk was good. It was beautiful, lots of great scenery, lots of great pictures. We just relaxed on the shore. We didn't do an excursion. We just kind of napped and walked the beach and read books, you know, on the beach. We really did not do much there, and it was great. It's just I'd have to say that the island, I'd never been there before, and it's very concentrated. Like the tourist area is in a very concentrated area because of course you get more of an aerial view from the ship, And I would say I was surprised that it was not like a sprawling, thriving island. It looked a little bit more laid back. And then Amber Cove. Amber Cove is more like a little shopping port that you get off on. There's not much beach space. It's like this shopping area, and then there's this restaurant that has like a bar and a pool and everything that you can go to, which were great. We loved it, but it wasn't beachy, and we, you know, we're kind of disappointed by that because of course we love the beach and love the ocean. So Amber Cove would have been a good one to do an excursion on that day, since there wasn't as much beach space. And that's one thing that I would recommend, is booking your excursion online because the line at guest services and at the activity booking desk on Carnival Sensation was just always packed the entire time. So vacationboss.com has excursions, and they're much cheaper than what Carnival offers them for. So I'd recommend booking them on there. There's so many great cool options, things to do, swimming with the dolphins, and just lots of horseback riding, all sorts of things. When we were in Turks and Caicos, there were guys on the beach that were offering excursions as well. I'm not always a fan of that because it's cash, and it's not always, especially if you're two females traveling, it's not always the best way. I just book it through a travel agent or online in advance. Another thing about the ship is that I did get internet. I'd never gotten internet on board a cruise before, but I had to for work. I'm actually a trader. I trade stocks. So I was a little skeptical about the internet because I obviously need something that will have a high bandwidth and high speed and extremely capable internet. The internet was awful. So I got 24 hours for $16 while on board. You can buy it in advance for cheaper, which I would suggest doing because it is much more economical. But I kind of wanted to test it out and see if I really even wanted it. You know, if it was gonna be awful, which I'd heard from a lot of people that the internet's awful on board cruise ships. I wasn't gonna get it for the whole time I was on there, but I at least needed to get on and touch base and get some things set while I was on for at least one day. So the internet sufficed, but it was not fast. It was extremely clunky, extremely slow, and it had a hard time supporting what I needed to do, which was probably like the equivalent of like streaming videos in terms of the software that I use for work. So I ended up having to upgrade to the premium internet service, which was better, but still not great. This is an older ship, and I've heard extensively that older ships, of course, do not have as good internet, so what can be said about this ship may not apply to all the Carnival ships or all the cruise ships, but Carnival Sensation, older ship, the internet was not that impressive at all. It did the job. If you have to check email and just touch base for work, it will definitely do the trick, but if you need anything much more demanding than that, it might be a stretch. But there were lots of things to do. There were lots of really cool bands that were playing like in the lobbies and in the lounges and bars. There was a piano lounge with a piano player in there sometimes, which was really cool. There was a casino. We didn't really do that because we're not big gamblers. There was shopping, which my mom enjoyed. I wasn't that into it. The comedians were good. The food was good. The buffet, of course, was great for lunch, and then they had some Mexican food and burgers for lunch. The seated dining was great for dinner. Great meals, great desserts. We definitely got our money's worth in food. I mean, $440 per person and all the food you get, it's a pretty good deal. And then there's entertainment, and there's pools, and the entertainment staff is out doing different things. They had a fundraiser, which we donated for. Oh, speaking of, our sail-in sign. So the sail-in sign is, you know, the charges that you accrue throughout the duration of the trip. And we did not buy anything. We are cheap. We're not big drinkers, so we did not charge anything on our sailing sign, and our sailing sign ended up being $145.34. So that was the taxes and tip between my mom and I for 2 people total. And then there's, I think, a $20 donation that we made for the fundraiser that they had on board. So like $125.34 total for the 2 of us for the duration of our trip, which I didn't think was bad because our Stu, who cleaned our room, she was great. And our room, by the way, everybody talks about cruise ship rooms being so small. It was not bad at all. There were 2 single beds, and there was room to get around them. And we had an inside cabin, by the way, so there was no window. There was a small TV. There were a couple little footstools and kind of luggage racks, and you know, they definitely make use of the space well, and little storage shelves. And then there was a vanity with a mirror outside of the bathroom, which was great, so I could do my makeup when my mom was in taking a shower. And then there were a couple closet spaces to put your stuff. And then the bathroom, you know, has a toilet, has a sink, has a mirror, and then it has a stand-up shower, and it has room when you get out of the shower to navigate in the bathroom. So it's not, you know, it's not horrible by any means, I didn't think. For 2 people, completely adequate. 4 people might be a little bit more of a stretch, but for 2 people, it was fine for us. We did not have any complaints about the space in the room. The beds were comfortable, the pillows were comfortable. We did wake-up calls every morning. Those came through fine. Oh, I do have to say that it is a smaller ship. It is an older ship, so it didn't have, I guess there's like balancing or stabilizing wings that some of the cruise ships have. Since it's an older ship, it did not have those. So we did have one choppy night the first night, and you could feel it. I know the last cruise that I went on, it was a bigger ship, and it had the stabilizers on it, and we never felt anything. But this one, the first night when it was really choppy, and even the staff on board said, well, it's really choppy out tonight. This is not the norm. People were getting sick. And one tip is that green apples. They said that green apples, I think it's the acidity in them, that it whatever neutralizes or does whatever to your stomach so you don't get sick or you don't feel like you're going to get sick, or it helps alleviate that. So we ate green apples just to be safe. Each day we kind of sat in different areas by the pool and then up on the deck, and then we went upstairs. There was mini putt, which was really cool, but don't save the mini putt for like at night or any time where it's windy, because you don't really get to enjoy it as much. That's one thing that we made the mistake of. We saved it till last night when it was really windy, and we were like getting blown away. Granted, there's walls around it to try to help block out some of the wind, but we still just didn't get to enjoy it as much as we wanted to. And also, we waited till the end of our trip to check out the gym and spa, and they were awesome. I mean, there was like a steam room and a sauna and a nice little workout area and a salon, but the steam room and the sauna were free, and I wish we would have gone there earlier because I would have spent a little more time in there. Then if you want to get massages, they offer that as well, but we're cheap. We didn't do it. I have to say that if you're somebody who wants to drink on board, I did see a ton of people that brought alcohol on board. They snuck it on in shampoo bottles. They snuck it on in like water bladders, Camelback bladders, hairspray bottles. People definitely were sneaking alcohol on board. There were a lot of very drunk people our first night on board, which didn't work out well though because the boat was swaying a lot. So they were kind of regretting that decision, but people definitely brought alcohol on board. They sell alcohol in the gift shops too, but they hold that until the end of the trip. And then they also sell alcohol, you know, bottles of alcohol at port, but you have to check that when you go back on the boat as well. So you can't get around it that way, but people were sneaking it in shampoo bottles and all sorts of things. Another thing is when you go out to port, They do let you come and go as you want. I know that's one thing that a ton of people have asked me, like, once you get off, do you have to wait until, you know, it's time to go to get back on, or can you come and go as you please? You can come and go as you please. There's just a quick kind of check out and check on. You just scan your sailing sign so they know everybody's accounted for. And then when you go to get back on, you just run your stuff through like a little security belt. And just make sure you get back on in time and on time, because they will leave without you. And the boat time is always the time that you go by for everything. That's one thing that I found irritating too, is there weren't a lot of clocks on board. So we did miss a couple activities because there was one clock by the pool that we were going by and it was off. So we were having a nice day sitting in the sun, and then we looked at the clock and we're like, oh my gosh, there's something we wanted to go do. It's in 15 minutes. Let's go down the room, freshen up, and then go to it. Well, yeah, that clock was off, so we missed it entirely. So definitely bring a watch or a phone that is going to still adjust, because when you go out to sea, your reception is different. And make sure that you're keeping track of time, and because there aren't a lot of clocks on board and some of the clocks were off, which was a little irritating. But other than that, let me just pull up some of my other things. I mean, there's so many things to do on board, and it's a little overwhelming because the brochures and pamphlets and flyers that they give you, I wouldn't say are organized the best. I'm a little OCD and a little neurotic, and I did not like the way that the information was arranged. I think it was more so in a sales presentative way instead of trying to organize things in a way so you could best come up with an itinerary. You know, they were obviously trying to sell, come here, we're doing a giveaway in the shops, and then come buy things, we're having 20% off, instead of being like, you know, here, the comedy show at this time and this at this time. You know, the things that they presented at the forefront were the things that would make them money, more so than trying to communicate things to make it easier for you to plan your schedule. But definitely read through everything, because, you know, we didn't do a great job planning things, I have to say. We were kind of in vacation mode, and there were days they had like this taco salad, Mexican food bar, and I went up to get lunch and I was like, oh, that sounds good. I saw that yesterday. And I went up there and it was no longer available. And I was like, what's going on? What time is this thing at? They had the hours for it, like in tiny print on the wall. And so I missed that until literally the last day. But the pamphlets and flyers they put in your room, it has all that information in it. It has the pool hours, it has the bar hours, it has different sports and games when those are running and those hours, different giveaways, what times. I mean, it has everything. It's a little overwhelming, like I said, though. But definitely check out the food times, because that's important. Oh, and then overall, I'd have to say that I wish that we would have made more use. There were 2 hot tubs by the main pool deck on the Lido deck, and they were always packed. They were always packed because it was a little breezy, and, you know, we went in February, so there were a couple days where it was a little bit chillier, or a day when it rained, and people were in those hot tubs constantly, and we never really got in because they were just packed, and we were like, not really our style to get in like this super packed hot tub. But there were hot tubs on the back of the boat, and we totally forgot about them. Like, we saw them the first day when we were touring the boat and looking at everything, and then we literally forgot about them during our stay. And then when we got off the ship, we were like, man, we totally forgot about those hot tubs. Those would have came in handy. So just kind of make note of little things like that so you can really make the most of your time on board. Because even though this is a smaller, older ship, there's still a lot of amenities and things to do and things to remember, and you can definitely keep busy. There's a cool little kids area, which I had fun on, with slides and like a little water park on it, which was fun. There is not a outdoor movie theater, which a ton of people asked me. They did not have that. My mom was a little disappointed about that, but yeah, other than that, everything was great. The people on board were nice and friendly. They would say hi. Some of them would remember your name. See a lot of them over and over again. The entertainment was pretty good. For the price, $440 per person, plus the, what, about $60 in gratuities and taxes and fees, so like $500 per person for food and entertainment and lodging, essentially, and you're stopping at 2 ports. I mean, if you were to pay for airfare to get to those ports, it would cost a lot. So it's really a pretty cost-effective way to travel. You're on board with people that like to travel, most likely like you do. So it's great to meet people, most of them from the United States, obviously, because you're leaving from Miami. But it's great to be on board with some of the same people, see some familiar faces, get to know some people. I handed out some business cards to some people, connected with some people. I had one lady that I met. We talked about some of our volunteer passions, and she was just awesome. So it's really cool to get to know people on board too. And then you get to meet the different staff on board that are from all over the world, which is cool. So it just has a lot of different elements to it. But if you're a foodie, if you want to see more than one destination or one area of the world, if you want a cheaper vacation, I would say cruising is a great option. If you love the ocean, if you love the water, if you love boats, it's great for you. If you like the entertainment aspect of it, I mean, if you just go somewhere, unless you're going to an all-inclusive resort with the entertainment staff, I mean, you're going to have to go out to shows and venues and bars and different things where there's entertainers that you're paying to entertain you. So this is great because it's just such a cost-effective way to combine all those elements. Food, lodging, entertainment, travel destinations, all that in one. So it's really a great way to travel, if you ask me. It's a fun, relaxing, well-balanced. You can kind of travel however you want to travel. If you want to be more laid back, you can be more laid back. If you want to engage in all the activities, you can. If you want to sleep in, you can. If you want to work out, you can. There's just so many different elements to it. So I enjoyed it, especially for the price. I thought it was a good value, but it was an older ship, so I'd have to say that my next cruise, I would not go on the Carnival Sensation again. I would go on another ship, something newer, most likely, just for the better internet and the better offerings that come with that, and then just the newer surroundings. But it is great for the money. We had a great time, definitely very memorable. If you have any questions about the Carnival Sensation or cruising or travel or anything that I can help with, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope this helped you guys, and happy, safe traveling. See you soon.